Vitamin K. This is the Vitamin K2 MK7 for support of our bones and our skeletons. And truly, this is so important because bone and heart health in these products is significant. This name, of course, stems from vitamin K in blood clotting, but this is also going to help with the promoting of flexible, resilient arteries and heart valves. Incidentally, because it is our second Today special, we go all the way up to the 720 cap count today only. This is the only time all year. These are really small little capsules to be able to swallow too. So the bigger you go, the bigger the savings, as you can see right there. You're welcome to any one of the cap size counts. This is another really essential product, and I know that it was like it was 5 years ago in December was the last time we actually did the larger cap size count. Sorry about that, but it is here, it is back with the biggest savings, and such an important thing to do because, you know, it helps direct, I will say, just putting our calcium where our body needs the calcium, not where it doesn't. And it's fascinating to listen to Andrew and talk about, you know, the science behind it because, you know, the science has been proven and Andrew is an expert in his field. He knows more than any human I know. So I'd love to have him share some information on this particular offer, the Vitamin K2 MK7. I'll read more reviews because here again, very, very popular customer pick. But in the meantime, here's Andrew to tell you more.
Hi there, Andrew Lessman here with yet another of our amazing Today specials to close out the year. Vitamin K2 MK7. I'm really happy to see that Vitamin K2 MK7 is no longer my little secret that I've been talking about for probably 15 years or so. You now see it on the internet, you now see it mentioned and discussed in articles and magazines or newspapers, and it deserves it. I look at vitamin K2, and I said this 15 years ago, as what vitamin D3 was 44 years ago when I was emphasizing the benefits of vitamin D3 back in 1979. Which I put extra vitamin D in my multivitamins back in 1979. And even caught a little flack for that because a lot of doctors have reached out and said, why do you put so much vitamin D in? It's not gonna be healthy. But doctors, as I've often said, are not provided, as I know from school, we were not provided the nutritional knowledge. It's really not part to any significant degree of a medical curriculum. And as a result, doctors didn't know how important vitamin D3 was until recently. We all now know how important vitamin D3 is. And vitamin K2 MK7, I've been talking about that for 15 years, saying it's much like vitamin D3. And it's starting to catch on. The recognition of that, certainly the science is just incredibly exciting and impressive. It's unquestionably essential. It's just until everyone fully adopts it, like vitamin D3, it was only in the last few years that the levels of vitamin D, the RDA of vitamin D was raised. I've been begging for those levels to be raised for almost 40 years, for almost 4 decades. That's how long it took. So I think we're going to continue to watch vitamin K2 not get the respect it deserves. So what does vitamin K2 deliver? What does it provide? First of all, we need to distinguish it from vitamin K1. Vitamin K1 is what had been historically viewed as vitamin K. And I think that it's confusion with vitamin K1 that prevents a lot of experts, a lot of doctors, a lot of scientists from really understanding and appreciating the difference with vitamin K2 MK7. Vitamin K1's primary role has always been observed and considered its role in blood clotting. In fact, the reason it's called vitamin K is because in German, where it was originally discovered, you spend coagulate, as in blood clotting, you spell coagulate with a K. Therein, vitamin K1. But vitamin K1 is, yes, all about coagulation and blood clotting. But vitamin K2 MK7 is about something else. It's about calcium metabolism, calcium utilization, the creation of bone, the creation of healthy bone, ensuring that we don't have calcification that loses resiliency in our arteries or other tissues that we don't want to see calcification. So that's what vitamin K2 is all about. It's considered vitamin K because of its chemical structure. So even though vitamin K2 doesn't play that same role as vitamin K1, is not known for that, it's considered in the same class, vitamin K1, vitamin K2, because its molecular structure is similar to that of vitamin K1. But vitamin K2's role is very different. The way I've often described it, it sort of is like a traffic cop in our body. It's responsible for policing the movement of calcium within our body. It makes sure that calcium gets deposited where it's supposed to be deposited and integrated into healthy bone. It makes sure that calcium doesn't get deposited and integrated into tissues that it doesn't belong, like our arteries, which can cause our arteries to lose their flexibility and resiliency. So again, vitamin K2 MK7 plays a critical role. We all by now have learned, I talked about this 44 years ago, that vitamin D, it's a prohormone. It plays a multitude of roles in our body. It's critically important for our immune system. It's critically important for brain function. You also can't absorb calcium without it. So when we look at calcium, and by the way, our calcium magnesium intensive care, our most popular calcium product, it's also available at today's special pricing during this visit. So if you're due to reorder your calcium, it's about 7 or 8 cents a capsule, I believe, in the large size. So our calcium magnesium intensive care will never upset your stomach, always easy to swallow. So it's a remarkable product. But you can't absorb calcium without vitamin D. You can't properly utilize that calcium once absorbed without vitamin K2 MK7. So it really is a trio. Calcium is that vital mineral, but that vital mineral, as critical as it is, can be potentially problematic if it finds itself in the wrong place. And when it comes to calcium, the key to making sure that it's utilized best in the way that it's appropriate for our body to utilize it, in our bones, in tissues where calcium is critical to their integrity, to their health, to their structure, that's vitamin K2 MK7 that's going to support that process. And even more importantly, and this is some really fascinating research that first came out probably almost a decade ago. And the research, the studies have now been repeated over and over and over again, that we know vitamin K2 MK7 is critical to the health and structure of bones. We've observed that. But also, surprisingly, when we look at our blood vessels, our arteries and blood vessels are more flexible in those individuals who supplement with vitamin K2 MK7. And why is that? Because what can rob our arteries and other tissues of their resiliency, their flexibility, their elasticity, is if calcification takes place. And vitamin K2 MK7, as I started in the discussion, it's sort of that police officer that makes sure the calcium goes here and doesn't go there. It stops it. It makes sure that it's responsible and part of the process of our osteoblasts, of building our bony tissue, and making sure that it's not going to find itself, calcium is not going to find itself in tissues that it would play an adverse role. Again, best pricing ever. Only the second time we've done a 720 capsule supply, and it's at a better price than the first time we did it. This was probably about 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, a 720 capsule supply, the only other time. So it's probably been 5 or 6 years. And it was more expensive then than it is today. So again, we hear a lot about inflation. I think I've taken that as a challenge to see how well I can do holding our prices on our key products, or even giving better prices, as in the case of our vitamin K2 MK7. So it's an unsung hero, just as vitamin D was an unsung hero 20, 30, 40 years ago. I've been talking about it for the last 15 years. It's starting to get the attention it deserves. I hope you give it some of your attention. Enjoy.
Isn't it fascinating? I mean, it's just like, it's so incredible to learn. In fact, I was reading some of the reviews on this product that I'd love to share with you, because one of them in particular was saying, let's start here, happy to find this. I knew calcium best absorbed in the body properly with vitamin K. However, the other name brand was not doing its job. This K2 MK7 seems of higher quality. It is. Ingredients. It's easy to swallow and no bad aftertaste. I love that the ingredients are free of undesired preservatives. The body is natural and things best for it are natural. Such a good point. How about this one? I use this Vitamin K2 MK7 in combination with Andrew's calcium magnesium intensive care to help the calcium go to the right places in my body, and it also supports my cardiovascular health. I'm a 62-year-old male, and at my last checkup, all was perfect. I attribute my health to working out, eating wisely, and taking these wonderful supplements from Andrew. Thank you. How about one more? Excellent product. I've been on Vitamin K2 MK7 since Andrew came out with it. Was not aware of the benefits before seeing it on HSN. Thanks again for such quality products. So again, read reviews. If you're still learning like I am, it's so fascinating to learn, but it's more important to take action and know that you are giving your body the things that it needs. We're all different, but we all go through stress. We all need the little bit of extra help, because certainly our bodies aren't getting it through our American diet. So this item number is 7763.